What's up, everybody? Charlie Marlow here, jumping on to do a video on this trade. Andrew Kittredge, the reliever, coming to the Cardinals for Richie Palacios. Anyway, basement video, hostage style. I know the lighting isn't great, but it's snowing outside, so I didn't feel like sitting outside or wiping off a chair with all the snow. Although it's been great to watch my kids, my daughter, playing in the snow, making the snowman, having the snowball fights with the hot chocolate and all that. But enough about that. We're here to talk about the trade. I was going to jump on and do a video last night, but it happened, when did it happen? 5, 6 o'clock, and I just didn't feel like it. So I said, let's wait. We'll wait till Saturday. First of all, I put a couple polls out there. I put one poll on Twitter. Did you like this trade? Put basically the same poll on YouTube. Did you like this trade? Both of them, I think, a couple hundred or 200-300 votes. Both very favorable. One of them, I think, was like 81%. Yes, I like the trade. The other one was about 78%. Yes, I like the trade. I did word them differently. One of them, do you like the trade? Do you think this will be a good trade for the Cardinals? Which is kind of different. Because, look, Andrew Kittredge could be really good for the Cardinals, but if Palacios blows up and becomes the next guy in this group of outfielders that the Cardinals get rid of that always become awesome. So let's be real. I do like the trade. Because relievers like this are very, very valuable. The Rays are doing what the Rays do, which is flipping a guy with 1 year of control, because Kittredge, he's about 33, going to be 34, going to be a free agent after this year. Arbitration will probably make, I saw, about $2.3 million, something like that. I believe he made $2 million-ish last year. Check me on that. I looked this all up today and yesterday, but I'm going off memory now. I didn't feel like bringing the laptop down here. So the Rays are flipping him because they're getting 6 years of control from Palacios for 1 year control, and that's how the Rays do business, because the Rays don't spend a lot of money. So this guy's about to get more expensive, and probably after this year they couldn't afford him at all. So they flip him for a young guy who they can have around for a long time. Now, I do think, in my opinion, you ask me right now, Richie Palacios is 26 going on 27. He's not young. He also, let's be honest, I mean, give him credit. He had a really good month. Played about, 32 games for the Cardinals. And so the Cardinals flip a really strong month of Richie Palacios with all the power. I think his OPS plus was 120. He had a high slugging percentage. About six homers? I think it was 6 homers. And, I had never heard of Richie Palacios, really, until he came up at the end of the year. And so I'm not gonna pretend like, Palacios. No, you turned a guy that I had never heard of, into, after 1 month basically, a really good high leverage reliever in Andrew Kittredge, who was an all-star a couple years ago. I believe it was 2021. Anybody that plays fantasy baseball knows that the Tampa Bay Rays over the years, they're kind of like the New England Patriots when it comes to running backs. And this is really geeky, but I'm talking about fantasy sports. You never want a New England Patriots running back, because you just never know who's going to be the guy who gets the carries. You never know who's going to be the guy that gets the touchdowns. You can't count on, okay, that guy's going to get 20 carries and he's going to get the goal line touches. So for years, whichever Patriots guy you had that you played wouldn't do anything, and some random guy would have 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then you put that guy in, and the next week it was like some Rex Burkhead type player. So you know what I'm talking about. This is the Rays with the closers over the years with the saves. You're playing fantasy baseball, you always want that Rays closer. Who's going to get the saves? And it was always somebody like Kittredge, who was one of 47 million guys who also got saves. I think Kittredge has 15 career saves. He had 8 in 1 year, had a really, really low ERA that year that he was an all-star. And, a 3-type ERA guy, which is good for a reliever. So, look, I do think that Richie Palacios is going to be a 4th outfielder type. If he's more than that, look, man, I can say I like the trade. But if 5 years from now, Richie Palacios is awesome, look, I don't get paid to make these deals. I think even though I like the trade, and it seems like most people do, again, about 80%, I think Kittredge really helps the Cardinals this year. You can make the case is either on paper second best reliever, right there, Helsley, Gallegos, Kittredge. I mean, if Andrew Kittredge was the Cardinals' best reliever in 2024, I don't think that would be a huge surprise to people. He's going to be very motivated also to get his paper, to get his money in 2025. So in saying all this, look, I know he's coming off Tommy John and should be healthy. Came back at the end of last year. But if Palacios becomes really good, we can continue this narrative of all these good Cardinals outfielders get away. And that's something where, look, I think I'm pretty fair with the Cardinals. You do have to be honest. They've been really, really bad or unfortunate or both in terms of evaluating outfielders for the last, let's say, 5 years or so. Last 5 years or so. Just talking about the guys they let go, they traded, and the guys they kept. Now, if you want to go issue by issue and every player, and you can say, well, that guy wasn't as good, and and he put on more muscle, and they DFA'd him, and everybody DFA'd him. I get all that. I understand all that. But it's also about if one guy gets away, okay. But if 5 guys get away, you start to wonder, what aren't you seeing or what aren't you unlocking as an organization that other organizations are able to unlock? So that will be the case with Palacios. Again, he's 26 going on 27. He had a really nice month. I don't think this is going to be Randy Arozarena. I don't think this is going to be Adolis Garcia. I mean, could it be Lane Thomas? Lane Thomas is pretty dang good. And that's part of this conversation is when you look at the guys they let go, we're talking outfielders. Harrison Bader was different. He had a year and a half left. You got a really good pitcher in return, Jordan Montgomery. Harrison Bader has been injured, just signed a nice deal with the Mets. But when we talk about this, we pretty much focus on Randy Arozarena, who never really got a chance with the Cardinals. Adolis Garcia, who developed later with the Rangers, put up great numbers in the minors, didn't really get a great opportunity with the Cardinals either. And then Lane Thomas gets traded away. He's had a nice couple years. And, COVID messed with him. And you can call these excuses, you can call these factors, but at the end of the day, the Cardinals are not good at picking the right outfielders. They kept Tyler O'Neill for too long. Although you understand, I mean, Tyler O'Neill has tremendous upside. He was 8th in the MVP. You understand why you'd want to bet on that guy. Dylan Carlson, you understand back in the day why you want to bet on that guy. It seems like they've already kept him too long. Does he have any trade value? Tyler O'Neill clearly didn't have very much trade value at all with 1 year of control left, and you flip him for maybe a major league reliever. We'll see from the Red Sox. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Comment, like, subscribe. Reply with your comments of what do you think about Andrew Kittredge. I think sometimes we think about relievers and we overlook how important a monster bullpen can be, especially if you're trying to make a playoff run. And if he's a guy who, let's say Helsley gets most of your saves, but let's say Kittredge can get 5 to 10 saves and be a high leverage guy, especially knowing that Helsley doesn't do a lot of back-to-backs. I'll tell you what, let's just put it on paper. Let's say Helsley's healthy, he's your best reliever. What if Kittredge is your second best reliever? And what if Giovanni Gallegos is your third best reliever? That's the makings of it. And I'm just talking about right-handers right now. We can throw in some other guys and Romero, and we'll see what happens. I think Zach Thompson has the potential to be really good in the pen. If he's not a starter, we'll see if there's any injuries. But let's just look at high-leverage guys. You need 3 of them. And for a playoff run, you need a bunch. If Helsley's your best reliever, let's say Helsley gets 30 saves, whatever it is. Let's say Kittredge gets 5 to 10. Let's say he gets 8 again. Let's say Gio gets 3, 4. And that's kind of your rankings in terms of high leverage guys. If they're ready to go and their usage isn't too much in the course of a couple days, Helsley's your main guy, Kittredge is your second guy, Gio's your third guy. If you have 3 guys rolling like that and they're all throwing to about 3 ERAs, whatever it is, it's a pretty good start and a pretty good back end of the bullpen for the Cardinals. So I wonder if they're done now. I wonder if they're done in terms of major league guys. I would still like them to add one more reliever, one more really good, solid, dependable reliever. But we'll see. What do you guys think? Do you like the trade? I'm going to say I like the trade. I don't think Palacios is going to be this superstar. Could he be a John Jay type player? And I'm saying that with a lot of respect to John Jay, who's kind of a fourth outfielder but gets some starts, really solid, dependable player. Could he be that type of player? Will the Cardinals regret this? Look, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what I say. It doesn't matter what I think about the Cardinals. If this becomes the fourth outfielder in the last 5 years who goes somewhere else and goes nuts, you just have to look at this as a trend of why can't the Cardinals figure this out with their outfield? And another part about this, which I've seen a lot, I agree with this, and I've seen a lot on social media as I put these polls out and talked about it. The Rays are not a team that usually make bad trades. That's all I'm saying. We all know that. We all know that's true. Go back to Randy Arozarena. There's a reason the Rays want your guys. There's a reason the Rays want to get rid of their guys. Now, a lot of times it has to do with control and money. That's a big part of it. But also their scouting and analytics department is just off the charts. I remember I'm listening to this interview the other day, watching it from Tyler Glasnow. He was talking about just the analytics department for the Rays and how impressive it is. So the Rays are a team that usually do not lose trades. Hopefully, at the end of the day, this is just a fair trade. That's another thing. What if Kittredge is really good for the Cardinals for a year and he's their second best reliever and maybe he leaves and signs somewhere else, but maybe you can sign him to a nice little 2-year deal, and maybe Palacios is a really solid fourth outfielder for the Rays for the next 6 years for them. Nothing wrong with that. That's a fair trade. There's nothing wrong with having a fair trade. I think if you look at the Harrison Bader for Jordan Montgomery deal, at first that felt fair until Harrison Bader was hurt. But remember, Harrison Bader in the playoffs in 2022 was going crazy, hitting home runs for the Yankees. So sometimes you can have a fair deal, right? I mean, Randy Arozarena is such a terrible deal, but we wouldn't say that if Matthew Liberatore is really good, right? And I know, look, Arozarena is a great player, but what if Liberatore was the equal to Arozarena as a pitcher? We wouldn't bitch and complain as much. If Liberatore was a number 3 starter who was throwing 180 innings and giving you nice production, we wouldn't complain about that. And heck, who knows? I mean, look, I don't think Liberatore's ever going to be as good as Randy Arozarena. Let's just hope at this point Liberatore is a good, solid bullpen piece. There's another guy we haven't really talked about when it comes to the bullpen. Maybe Liberatore is that multi-inning reliever type who's a high-leverage guy also from the left side. So we'll see. But again, at the end of the day, it's not just about who you get. It's about who you give up and what that person does. Hopefully this ends up being a fair trade. I think it will be. Because Palacios is going to have some nice moments. He's 26, 27, but he has 6 years of control. So the Rays are going to get some good production out of him. And so there's going to be a big home run. You're going, oh, we gave up Palacios. But hopefully Kittredge is healthy, and he's the Cardinals' about second best reliever this year. And in that case, I think it's a fair trade, and everybody wins. All right, guys. Share the video, share the show, share the channel. More on-camera videos this year. I promise that. I got more time. Not doing as much radio. And I've noticed when I do the videos on camera, even though this lighting is terrible and I look like I'm being held hostage, we add a lot more subscribers coming off the on-camera videos than we do the audio segments from 590. And I get that because, look, that's basically a podcast. And I understand podcasts are super popular, and I love podcasts. But YouTube's for video, even if it's just my ugly face in bad lighting squinting. So there you go. All right. Have a great Saturday. Have a great weekend. Kittredge for Palacios. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Peace out.